Well, hello everyone. My name is Cathleen Peter-Swart, and I am the moderator for this interesting session. I am the Vice President Corporate Services and People Champion for Westcore Construction, a general contracting and construction management firm in Calgary, and I served on the CCA's Diversity Working Group. The workforce shortage is a topic of significant concern to most of our members. With baby boomers retiring, combined with a smaller millennial cohort, we are in a war for talent. In addition to needing more skilled trades, we also need engineers, project managers, and designers. Construction is competing for these resources with the military, financial services, medical and legal, as well as trucking and hospitality industries. We are very excited to bring you this discussion in a novel format. CCA hired Abacus Data, a leading research firm, to interview students and parents on their perceptions of the industry. We will show you videos of their impressions, and then we will have a moderated session. Joining me are our two panelists. Nicole Chabot is a Vice President of Chabot Enterprises based in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Chabot is a leader in the Manitoba heavy construction industry. Eric Gaulin is Executive Vice President of Canadian Building Operations at Pomelo. Over the last 50 years, Pomelo has grown from a little company in the Bourse region to the coast-to-coast general contracting firm it has now become. Before we get started, how many people who are watching have kids? Probably many. I have a 7-year-old son who is at that age where everything fascinates him. Yesterday, he wanted to be a firefighter during the day and a superhero at night. Last week, he wanted to work in construction because I work in construction and also because I'm working at home and is exposed to my work daily. Have you ever wondered what kids think about a career in construction? What about what their parents think? Is there a gap? And are there some takeaways for our individual firms and our associations? Let's play the first video and find out.
Moving around.
Why do you say that?
Do a lot of different things.
Maybe that it's could be dangerous and might not be the right job.
Why would I have gone into construction when there's better things out there?
I think it just kind of is seen as a last option job.
Everyone thinks that it's super and an easy job and that you don't need a ton of education to do it, whereas teachers are more focused on getting you into jobs that you need to go to more school.
Because I kind of think of construction as laying bricks or roofing or something like the physical things, but there's also architects too, and engineers and a whole bunch of people on the same team, but doing different things.
I don't think I would consider it just because of the labor that you have to do, and it's probably tough on your body and stuff, and I just I'm not interested in that stuff.
Zero interest in that, to be honest.
Why?
The physical labor, I feel like I could just do more.
People seem to think that because it's a more physically demanding job doesn't require, intelligence. And it's the same for jobs that stereotypically require a lot of intelligence, programming or something like that. In TV, I always see that the glass is really thin, kind of nerdy looking, I guess. And those people can't really seem to see that it requires both at times.
There's a lot of opportunities, especially in this space, because there's a lot more machines and ability to gather data to create multiple ways to increase safety and probably productivity as well.
Yeah, I think there's going to be lots of jobs because the city's always expanding and there's always new projects going on and always new things to build and stuff.
Advertise the different opportunities. So, telling people, that it's not just building the stuff and there's, designing the stuff and there's lots of different jobs.
I agree with what she said. We don't really hear much about the construction industry and all the like different opportunities that you have. So I think they need to have more advertising.
So do the messages you heard resonate with your own experience? Let's start with you, Eric.
So it's not really our case in my family or my surrounding friends. Maybe because we are for most of them in the construction industry. So and our kids are probably much more aware of the possibility of the industry and the type of project or job that is out there than most of the kids. What I find very, very surprising about the video is it's probably the lack of publicity and information that we don't send to the general publics about how great the opportunity are in the industry, and how the industry is changing also to be more innovative and digital.
So, Nicole, are there any messages that you heard that resonate with your own experience?
So I would say that there was some messaging there that certainly growing up with the industry around me, I'm surprised that some of those perceptions still exist. I think that our industry has been doing a lot of work to advertise the opportunities that do exist, but it's apparent watching the video and hearing from the youth that we still have a lot of work to do because we're still hearing some of those older perceptions of our industry being dangerous or perhaps a lesser or a last opportunity option, and certainly that's not the case these days. And so I do think we could be doing a better job of changing that dialogue.
And then what was your number one takeaway from the video, Nicole?
The one thing that I did take away, and it was good to hear that they are seeing, some of them definitely are seeing the opportunity. There was a good discussion there about the evolution in construction and the evolution of different roles and the opportunity that would be there in the future, and seeing that the youth saw that opportunity.
And for you, Eric, what was the number one takeaway for you?
My number one takeaway was that it's still the perception is still a very physical jobs, and that they don't realize how much thinking there's need to be to build any kind of building now, or a road or bridges. So now with the technology in place, you need much more than only physical people. You need people that have pretty deep knowledge to be able to put these pieces in place.
And then, Nicole, as a woman, were you surprised not to hear anything female related or male related, that construction is mainly male related?
I wasn't surprised by some of the comments that were made, and I did notice that it was one of the female students who was the first to raise the issue of very labor-intensive work. But I did notice that the males did indicate that as well. So I think there's a recognition there. Of course, there are many roles in construction, but a number of them are still in the field and can be physically demanding. But it was great to notice that when they did start talking about the higher education opportunities, that there was no barrier noted.
Awesome. Thank you. So then we've heard what the kids have to say. Let's hear what the parents have to say.
Most of the work is outside and it's workshops. So it's not healthy. It's very tough job.
It's long hours. It's not typical 9 to 5.
Danger.
Why?
A lot of workplace accidents. You have to go into IT, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, because that's what's going to get you the big house and the 2-3 cars and the, you know, the TV and then this and then that. So
a bit stressed at first, but then smile because I have to put on this smile to kind of explain as to what is the thought process, why do you think, or what kind of field. Okay. So just to know what insight he has.
What if you could be the human resource specialist in a big construction company versus a hospital? Would it matter to you?
Not really.
Do the same job but
No, I don't think so. But I mean, just as I said, there's a little bit of negative connotation associated with construction industry.
It's not thought of as a great career, something wonderful for your kids to do. Instead, oh, my kid's in construction, versus, wow, my kid's in construction and he's making a great living and he's happy and he's doing what he does, right? I think it's all about perception and where we're pushing our kids, where the schools are pushing their kids, where we as parents have this ideal that our kids should go to university. And
my kids, they need to go to the honorable and highest level universities.
There is no shame in being a plumber, and there is no shame in doing, you know, these jobs exist for a reason.
I see it as someone who does well in school. Yeah, because you have to have the math for it, right? You can't just go to construction. You're not just slapping bricks on a wall.
The elephant in the room is demographic change, right? Canada has an aging population, so there's not too many people, and there's huge number of jobs in the trades. But then, as she pointed out, we want our kids to go to a like an IT job or a doctor, etc.
I don't think it's necessarily a man's job versus a woman's job or anything like that. I think there may be things that a woman might be better at than a man is better at when it comes to the construction aspect.
I would say that they want to let the kids know that there is technology involved in construction also. It's not just that there is technology. We are not antiquated. We are with it. That it's not a desk job.
Just kind of show them the different jobs that they can do, you know, tell them, because you think construction worker, you think, you know, a hammer and nail and actually building things.
If I, as a parent, say to my kid, okay, if you want to go in construction, so just by guiding him, exploring what are the options, sitting with him, going to maybe different job fairs or showing different kinds of options that he has, would have really helped.
People don't realize what kind of opportunities there are in the blue-collar trades. I mean, it's not just blue-collar, I'm going to work with a hammer anymore. It's, you know, there's a lot of technology involved. You need a diploma from a college to get a decent job.
Well, that was very interesting. So, Nicole, what struck you about the parents' point of view?
I was actually surprised to hear more positive messaging from the parents than I anticipated. It seemed they were actually very well informed about the variety of opportunities and the role that technology is playing more and more in construction, more so than what we heard from the youth earlier.
So, Eric, what struck you about the parents' point of view?
So when I watched this, I was a little bit surprised about the fact that they still think that construction is a really dangerous jobs. Even if it's, we do understand that this is dangerous construction. However, I don't think we will mention or we will demonstrate all the effort and time that we spend, that the industry spend really to protect the worker and to ensure their health and safety. Just talking now about the COVID situation, I think the industry has react extremely quickly and together to protect the health and safety of the worker. And by hearing what the parent had to say about the industry, I'm really shocked about the fact that all these effort is not being communicated to the general public, basically.
Thank you. So then, Eric, where do you think there are some truths in what the parents said? And then are there some myths that we can possibly dispel?
Yes, there is absolutely some truth in what they said. I think some of them were well aware of the industry and what is entailed too. I think some of them really mentioned about how the industry is innovative and what technology is being used now in the industry to build either building road or bridges, like I said before. So I think they were some of them were they did their homework and were aware of the industry.
And Nicole, from your perspective, were there some truths and some myths within what the parents said?
So definitely, again, the parents did seem very well informed and had great comments about the different roles. I particularly enjoyed when they provided the example of being an HR professional in a construction company versus being in perhaps a healthcare setting. And it does show that they do have a good understanding that they can be the same role. In terms of myths, looking back to what Eric mentioned with regards to construction being dangerous or not healthy, I certainly do think that is a myth that continues to perpetuate. Our industry has done a lot of work, and I think we've done a lot of work ensuring that we have education, that we have training, and really improving the safety statistics overall for the industry. And I think we've done that really well. What we haven't done well is advertise that to the general public and to our, prospective employees, looking at the students that we're hearing from and their parents, that if construction is still viewed as dangerous or not healthy, I certainly don't think that's the case. But I think us as insiders, we're very well aware of the work that goes into it every single day, ensuring, that health and safety is paramount. We need everyone to go home safe at the end of the day so that they can come back tomorrow and, in 15 years, have their kid working here alongside them and mentoring them and that next generation. So I think that's a myth we need to work harder to dispel.
I love that. Thank you, Nicole. And then just to take it to a more personal level, what are you doing in your firm to address the truths and the myths? Nicole?
Well, touching on some of the points that I just mentioned, for us it is really important that we are keeping on top of health and safety, ensuring that we are implementing all of the best practices, alluding to, as Eric mentioned, with COVID. I think construction was very quick to react and very quick to implement all of the practices and procedures that were necessary to ensure that our people are safe and feel safe coming to work. I know for us, it's very important to promote from within. It's very important to always be growing that next generation and providing opportunities to youth, whether that's through career placement initiatives, through any variety of roles that are available. And I think it's only by showing the opportunity that exists and allowing it, to be there for youth can we really help move our industry forward.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And then, Eric, from your perspective, what is Pomelo doing to address the truths and the myths?
So like Nicole said, I think we spend a lot of energy on ensuring the health and safety of our workers, so that either the father or mother, when they are going back at home at night, that they can discuss their jobs and with their kids. And so their kids can see that this is not so dangerous of jobs that their parents are doing. As far as the awareness of the younger generation, I think we try to be as present as possible on social media. Do we do enough? No. I think we try to be as much present as well in our local community, either through Hors program or through some challenge at the university. We are trying to reach the kid at the younger age as possible. So, but as the rest of the industry, I think we all need to improve in that matter, and Pomelo is part of it as well.
Thank you. And then, Nicole, from your perspective, what do you think the industry needs to do to promote the industry better?
Well, I think a lot of it comes back to marketing, and as Eric mentioned, social media is definitely growing in prominence. It's out there and it's in your face. So maybe we all need to get a little bit more up to speed in how we are, championing our successes and our opportunity. I think we've seen, careers in STEM are very well advertised, they're well promoted, and there's actually a lot of crossover with STEM into construction with the way that we are advancing and seeing innovation implemented. And I think that if we were doing as great a job as they were, we'd be seeing a lot more entrance into construction. So definitely marketing is key, alleviating some of these concerns that we're hearing about, how our industry is perceived, working to change those. I also do think, there does need to be some cultural change still in our industry. I know it's been underway for a long time, and it will still be underway for a long time. And I think that is a great thing, and it needs to continue. And that's how we are going to see advances in the workforce for our industry.
And when you talk about cultural change, do you mind going into a bit more detail? What are you referring to by cultural change?
When I speak to cultural change, I am really talking about, the day-to-day experiences that people are having on job sites, and whether you are a new entrant to construction, if you've recently joined a company and perhaps you're a female or, you weren't born in Canada, there can certainly be some barriers there, and they can be very obvious barriers. And I think that we all have a responsibility as business owners and as people in this industry to ensure that we are having workplaces that people feel safe, people feel welcome, they have the opportunity to learn, they have the opportunity to advance, and that they are, provided those opportunities free of barriers.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. And then, Eric, from your perspective, what do you think the industry needs to do? What more can the industry do?
I think the industry need to better market what the industry is. I think we have great opportunity for young people and even older people to be part of, for them to accomplish themselves. I think either if it's in IT, in health and safety, in quality, there is numbers of trades out there that are all well paid. And but we need to let the general public knows about it. I think the construction industry has always been a fairly tight industry and never had to promote themselves too much to the general public. I think now, because of the demand in labor forces, we will need to start doing it. And I think we should learn from other industry how they've done it. The aerospace sector has done a very good job promoting the job they have to offer. So I think the construction industry is probably there right now. And as I said, maybe I'm already sold, but I think this is probably the best industry in the world. And by the challenge we have to offer, and the potential of accomplishment for everybody and in multiple facets of the industry. So for me, it's really, we need to market our industry.
Thank you. And then just an idea around baby boomers leaving the industry and experience leaving. What about things like mentorship programs? Do you think that's something the industry can get involved in? Nicole?
So I do think that the industry would benefit from perhaps formalized mentorship program. I know that, construction's been around for a long time, and our aging workforce, certainly some of them can be very reluctant to share their skill set, and perhaps if we as owners had a roadmap to better equip them to be able to transfer some of that skill and knowledge, we'd all be in a better place, because I do find there's no lack of knowledge, but sometimes it's the ability or knowing how to transfer that knowledge down to the next generation can sometimes be tough for some of these guys that this has just been what they do every day. They come in, they build things, they make it happen, and, you know, they figured it out, and they think the next guy should just figure it out, and it doesn't necessarily work like that.
Awesome, thank you. And Eric, from your perspective?
Yeah, I think it's a must if we want to continue to advance and get more people and better skilled people as well to do the work. It's not mean that the best plumber or the best carpenter will be the right mentor, but I think it's up to us to really select the one that have better aptitude or know how to transmit or to mentor the skill. But I think as an industry, this is a must if we want to continue to engage younger people and develop them better and faster.
Is there anything else that you wanted to add that hasn't been addressed? Nicole, I'll start with you. Just really open-ended, anything you wanted to end with?
Well, I guess, one of the messages that still sticks with me that we did hear from the youth videos was, a very strong reluctance from the young girls to see construction as an opportunity for them career-wise. And I would love to be party to changing that because there are so many opportunities in construction. And I think that we really do have a job ahead of us to market those opportunities and change perceptions because we really do want to attract everyone to this industry. And for them to know that it doesn't mean that you're running a machine, maybe you're an engineer, maybe you're an entrepreneur, and you start out with your boots on the ground and you end up running a company. The opportunities that are there, I really do think we need to do a better job of making them aware of that.
Awesome, thanks. And Eric, from your perspective, just a overarching comment, wrap up?
Yeah, I just want to add what Nicole said, and I promise we didn't talk before. I think we need more female in the industry, and this is good to see because today I'm the only guy with two women, so this is perfect. So I really think there is a real place for women in the industry. I think there is many kind of trades or even career at the office level, on the engineering side, at the innovation level, where we will benefit of having more women in the industry. And don't be shy. Let's come work with us, basically.
I love that. So that wraps up a very interesting session. What really struck me there were a few things that really struck me. The one was just that whole perception around, especially from the kids' perspective, there were a few that talked about technology and innovation and looking at, project management or engineering or designing jobs. So kids are starting to realize that construction is going beyond just hammering a nail or putting bricks down. So there really is this understanding that the industry is evolving and developing, and that we've got technology on our side. So it's really making the industry a lot more exciting knowing that we've got technology and innovation on our side. I really enjoyed the comments around safety and what both Eric and Nicole have said. Just working in the industry myself, we really are probably the safest industry out there, and we need to do more to promote that and to market that. With the whole COVID situation that came about, we stood ahead of everybody, and because of that, we became known as an essential service. And there was never a question about whether we shouldn't be an essential service because of safety. It was we should be because we are safe. So we've done great, incredible work, and we need to promote that more. The other piece as well was just around just long hours. And yeah, we do have times when our jobs are long hours, but that's not the norm for our industry. So we need to try and promote that we are a more healthy industry and just really do that marketing piece. And then just, that whole, it was particularly the parents that talked about that it's not male versus female. There was never that real, it's a man's world versus women struggling to get in. I got the idea that women have equal opportunity within the construction industry. again, it's just about us making sure that we promote it and we market it. So on behalf of the CCA, I would like to thank Eric and Nicole for sharing their expertise and their insight with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.